Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Upsurge, where you're able to find the hottest and finest of all the amateur action out there. I am Travesty. I am joined here by my lovely co-caster, Cubby. How are you doing today?
I'm outstanding. Looking forward to this rematch from two teams that were actually in the same group of Upsurge, meeting each other in the playoffs as well. Should be a really good match between two teams that are very familiar with each other and obviously have competed across multiple SGC leagues as well. Two big brands going at it. Should be a good one.
Yeah, and you're talking about two big brands, and I feel like we have to take a moment to hit on that because, with a lot of people right now, one of the big topics out here inside of competitive League of Legends is where the hell is the NA talent at? And let me tell you, two of the orgs that you can look at for NA talent are definitely going to be right here on your screen. Radiance has been an organization that's been around for quite a bit of time now, led the way by High. High, of course, once he took his time off there on the desk, he said it's time to invest in the young talent. And then over on the other side, 100 Thieves Nets, they said the same thing. They want to invest in that younger talent. And these players that you see here are players that you're probably going to see eventually make their way into the academy, possibly into that professional scene, and two teams full of 5 players each to watch.
Yeah, two organizations that are very invested in amateur traps. I love that you're bringing that up. And my eyes, though, when it comes to the talent, goes over to 100 Thieves next. I mean, the fact that they are the first franchise team to have a selection of amateur players and have some of the most talented players in all of amateur. Looking at Kenvi and Tenacity, these guys are insane. And you can very much argue that all three players are, every single one of their players are top 3 at their position in SGC. It's incredible watching them perform, and no team is yet to really top them. So we're going to have to see if Radiance can maybe be the first here.
They have a chance to, right? They do have that ability to be able to do it. That's why they're here, right? If we were to take a look at the bracket and whatnot, it's going to be one of those things where if you look at it, Radiance had to beat Supernova, another well-known brand out there inside of the amateur scene.
Yeah.
They toppled them, and then over on the other side, 100 Thieves Nets took down Mirage Esports to make their way here. So both these teams, they had to be tested here in the first upper round for sure.
Yeah, actually, Mirage was one of the few teams that gave 100 Thieves Next a run for their money. As you know, I mentioned that they have been dominant, but they've been shedding a few more games of late as the competition is getting better and the games are getting more important as we dive into playoffs here. And today we're going to have Radiance and 100 Thieves Next on stream, but some great matches going on in the losers bracket as well and across all of UPL as we continue to move forward and find out who gets those SGC points, which are ever so important. And the winner of this match actually secures themselves some SGC points as well. So a lot on the line tonight. So these two teams meet against each other on the Rift.
And when there's high tension, high reward, there's going to be the highest level of play to follow that. And that's what we're going to be looking for here, as we are going to be looking to start up draft here very shortly, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm excited to see what the priority is going to be, because a lot of different teams have different ways that they like to play. Like there's different picks that you want to first pick in your first rotation, and you want to make sure that you're banned away. So I'm kind of curious on where the targets may lie here.
Yeah, Travis, I like the fact you bring up the fact there's high tension. We've got high tension on the Rift. We've got hypertension behind the cameras here for us producing, and we've got a good match as these two teams are going to have to position themselves and pick ban. And I think it's very interesting watching these two teams match up because while 100 Thieves Next, given their track record, they have the advantage. Both teams play very differently as we have 100 Thieves Next setting themselves up for that top lane counter pick and making sure Tenacity and Kenvi can just go to work in that top side of the map. Whereas Radiance, they pretty much exclusively play through Andy Bendy, who is, in my opinion, the best AD carry in all of SGC. This guy is insane when he's given all those resources, and it shows as he has an insane gold diff at 10. I believe it's around 700, and a part of that's thanks to his great play. Another part of that is thanks to the fact that Radiance loves to play through his lane. So we're going to have to see how that pans out in pick ban, as we already have Callista being taken off the table, one of those champions that Radiance loves to put Andy Bendy on and, play through bot lane.
Yeah, it can take over the game very well. If you put resources in it, it translates into free neutral objectives, which is always phenomenal, and it can be very, very good. Now we are seeing over on the other side, Radiance going to go ahead and ban away the set. We've seen the set be very flexible. Have to see what the answer is going to be as this draft moving kind of slow, but starting to pick up speed.
Yeah, the set ban is almost a double ban because or it's more towards auto. The fact that 100 Thieves next, they love to play Senna set in that bot side of the map. So Radiance knocking out, a few birds with one stone as we have 100 Thieves next taking very focused bans. Avi loves that Olaf, going to take that away from him. And the Volibear, who Engo and Avi have both played.
Yeah, and it's something that we are going to be really interested to see what they do, man. I miss Volibear. Like, Volibear is so exciting to see. And it's so sad that the wrestling match can't happen because both Set and Volibear are banned away because that's a wrestling match I never knew I wanted. But I love this first pick from 100 Thieves Nets. They grabbed the Syndra for them. That's very flexible.
Yeah, the Syndra coming out in the Senna hover, actually, that might be kind of a takeaway from the side of 100 Thieves next. I'm curious to see if that one actually gets locked in. It's not a champion that I fully expect Andy Bendy to be on, but with few ADs already off the table, it could be something that he's going to be forced on as, yeah, it's going to be the locked in. So we have that Senna coming out and a different look for Radiance and Andy Bendy.
Yeah, I was about to say, this is very interesting from this storyline that we saw. I mean, he did play it last week, so it is a champion that has been able to put success on. I believe it was last week. I'm not entirely sure, but any AD carry, they've gone through the point where they said, all right, I'm fasting Senna now. So every AD carry has gone through that, as that was a very, very recent meta, and it has seen some success, especially over in the academy scene. We've seen a couple people be able to pull out the Senna and put it into great work. Well, the Graves is going to be picked up. We've seen those junglers, those new heavy, high farm, high aggression junglers get put in. Graves in the midst.
Yeah, Graves still that fast-pacing jungler that Avi really likes to take. And I like the fact that you mentioned that Senna's been cropping up more. We actually saw a farming Senna being picked up by, I believe it was Mash on FlyQuest. Ended up dropping the game to Golden Guardian split push with a Twisted Fate, but still, strong enough to be picked in LCS is once again very common to see lots of AD carries being taken out on red side, and you're kind of forced to take your first choice of ADs on blue side. And with this Karma lock-in now for 100 Thieves, I'm curious. Well, that answers my question. I was about to say, curious to see if they, flex that around possibly mid lane and put the Syndra bot. But with the Ashe lock-in, a champion that we've really seen cropping up in the LCK and the LPL, I'm really happy to see an SGC team picking that up. And 100 Thieves next are going to lock that one in for Yon.
Yeah, super consistent, does well going into that mid to late game, and is just great to be able to have for the CC that is able to be brought in the vision control. Now, Radiance, they're hovering the Azir here. I believe they were hovering it last phase. Now they say we will lock it in now that we know where the Syndra is going. And now we're going through the second ban phase, and I don't know about you, but 100 Thieves Nets, their jungle pool is looking wide open for Radiance to go ahead and pinch.
Yeah, and we see that, the Kindred band being hovered out here. I would expect it to go through as Kenvi is so good, and Kindred is one of the picks that he can be dominant on. We've seen him pop off. He got a pentakill with that over in Cup a couple weeks ago, but I'm going to be curious to see if they end up banning out the Nidalee, because I don't think Nidalee fits the comp of 100 Thieves next super well, but it is a pick that Kenvi does love to play into Graves. If not, he will also take the Lee Sin too. So still a lot of options for Kenvi, as I believe Radiance is going to be pinching another jungler. Meanwhile, we do have the top lane pool being pinched here. So Wukong being taken away from Engo, as we have seen Tenacity play that Karma. It's not a Tenacity champion, but he can play it. So we're going to have to see if 100 Thieves next take advantage of that flexibility in the draft and possibly put that Karma up to the top side.
Yeah, and we do see the Nocturne band away here. A champion that has been getting a little bit more of a resurgence here as of late, has been getting some buffs inside of the patches and whatnot, and can be a very strong champion, especially in competitive play. Once he hits 6, you got to be alert and ready to go, because Nocturne will make one laner's life an absolute hell. But 100 Nets, now they got one more band to throw over at Radiance. They've already thrown a band at Wukong. Now it's going to be the Maokai.
I like that.
Now Radiance, what are they going to pick up here?
Really like the Maokai ban, because if it was selected here, they could have flexed that for either top lane or pairing it with the Senna to have a farming Maokai, as we have seen that run by both 100 Thieves Next and Maryville in the SGC circuit when the set is taken away. And those other picks is, I don't expect this Yasuo pick to be going through, but it is going to be hovered here for Radiance. And okay, I lied.
I was not
Yasuo
expecting
locked
this
in.
either. I didn't expect that either. That is just Chad energy exuding from Radiance right now.
Wow.
And yeah, this is not scream to you, oh man, I want to pick Yasuo in this comp, but hey, he's in there, and now 100 these nets. The ball is in your court. You got a Yasuo showing, and you got your top and jungle to pick up, and you called it earlier, Cub. Lee Sin getting picked on up.
I've been lucky enough to be in a lot of 100 Thieves Next games, and I've done my research. I know Ken V as, you know, I can read his mind, obviously, going over on 100 Thieves Next. But no,
Yeah.
Lee Sin makes a lot more sense than the Nidalee here. Just fits the comp a lot better and gives 100 Thieves Next a way to engage on this Radiance team. But Kiersey, does Tenacity end up blinding this Aurelia in the top lane? Actually, no, it's going to be the Aatrox, so Karma will be bot, and they still have a flex on this Yasuo, technically.
I was about to say Yasuo bot, I think.
Yeah, they could flex it around, but Radiance hovering that Gangplank, which can potentially have a good matchup into the Aatrox. I know that a lot of players actually have differing opinions on how that matchup goes. Engo possibly thinking it's a good one, and it would fit the comp of Radiance very well. You know, Ashe and Syndra are both not mobile for that backline, so that ult coming in from Gangplank, it's going to be the lock-in and could be lethal against Syndra and Ashe, as it allows Radiance to really close the gap against this team.
Yeah, and you know what? I do like this composition from both sides, because this is both sides saying we are going to be very aggressive. I actually love the current meta that we have inside of League of Legends, because it's so much more scrappy compositions. And I don't know if you noticed this, but look at the hard lack in CC between these two compositions, right? Like, a lot of them have like single target CC. There's no real like hardcore like easy to pull off CC. It's not like you have the click of Maokai or something like that. This is just, we're going to scrap, and the ultimate CC is the death timer.
Yeah, Gray Screen is the best CC that there is in League of Legends, and you know that there isn't hard CC on the side of Radiance, but they do have a lot of terrain scaling. You know, utilizing that Emperor's Divide, utilizing the barrels and the zoning that Gangplank can bring to the table, and could make the lives of Syndra and Ashe very difficult if 100 Thieves Next do not get ahead in this early game, which they're going to have to do. But the Ashe gives them so much information and map control, not to mention bot lane priority, and I really want to see what Kenby can do with those hawk shots, given the fact that he has Lee Sin early, and you have to play aggressive in those first 5 levels to make this pick pay off.
I love the fact, too, you were talking about the storyline at the very beginning about how one side is very top focused. Like, you get to see so much going on, and over on Radiance, they have this bot focus where their bot is able to do so much. I personally love them picking Ashe Karma here, because this is honestly a very safe and also very aggressive lane. And it is hard to actually gank an Ashe that is properly utilizing the vision that the support's able to get, and using the hawk shot to scout for where the jungler is, so that way your jungler can easier track them.
Yeah, and I'm really happy to see 100 Thieves taking this pick, because it's something that with all the AD bans flying in the LPL and the LCK, we've actually seen first picks on blue side quite a bit, and I've been waiting for amateur teams to start to, you know, take Ashe, because she does give that early game information. She actually has a form of engage, which can really help when you're taking things like Karma Graves in the mid jungle. As 100 Thieves Next, you know, they have the Karma, Lee Sin, and support in jungle, but doesn't bring the most CC to the table. So I think it really helps round out comps, and also has a very dominant early lane phase. And like the fact, Travesty, that you brought up, Karma Ashe brings a lot of poke, especially early. So Senna Yasuo might have trouble approaching the wave initially, and we're going to have to see if 100 Thieves Next can really snowball that early advantage to get into more in the bot lane.
Yeah, it's going to be definitely, so you've decided to approach me moment inside of the bot lane. That could be very interesting to see. While over in the mid lane, I do want to talk about these two mid laners here. You got Syndra, Azir. We have been seeing these be two very prevalent champions in professional and amateur play. Syndra, of course, as we know, very flexible champion that we have seen that has been able to be played very proficiently in the bot lane and in the mid lane, while Azir has been finding his home back inside the mid lane and whatnot. These are two champions that in the mid game can be very, very big deciding factors, especially around neutral objective.
Yeah, you know, the Syndra, she did find some recent nerfs, but it still seems like it hasn't affected her priority in the mid lane, and we do see that first pick still coming through, as it does allow for flexibility throughout the draft. 100 Thieves Next didn't take advantage of that because they got the Karma as well, but I'm really curious. You know, you mentioned those early game fights, and I really am curious to see what Radiance can do because the only knockup that Yasuo has is that Emperor's Divide. So it is really going to be on Young Mid to try and find these big engages and for the Yasuo to capitalize on it. And, just as a note, it is going to be Andy Bendy on that Yasuo and Cow taking the Senna in the bot lane as, you can technically flex around those picks. Andy Bendy going to be probably taking all the farm in that lane. And I'm curious to see how that lane ends up working out because I see the wind wall being useful against a lot of abilities on the side of 100 Thieves next, but I'm curious to see if it can actually get ahead in this lane because Karma Ash can be so lethal.
Yeah, and I'm also very curious because I haven't really been able to see too terribly much Senna because there's been a little bit of variance because we had the fasting Senna and then we had farming Senna. And then there's been of course, the ever so infamous Glacial Augment. And then there's been the grass build that has actually popped up for recent bits of time here. So I'm actually very curious on what we're going to see this Senna be inside the bot lane playing this support style and see what Sal is going to be able to do. Sal, Cal, I mean, he is, out of all the players here, just recently out of Academy, played for Team Liquid Academy, made his way into the playoffs of Academy last time around as he was on their roster during that, and played a lot with Tactical, who was finding himself a lot of success over in LCS. So I'm kind of curious. I'm going to be keeping my eyes on Sal, see what he'll be able to do.
Yeah, Engo and Otto also being ex-Academy players as well. There is some experience on this roster, but my eye goes to a lot of the young talent that's out there because, like I said, Kenby and Tenacity, I strongly believe it's really hard to convince me that they aren't the two best players in Amateur, especially Kenby. I mean, his stats so far are just absurd in the jungle. He has been jungle gapping everyone, and I was actually on the cast for the last time that 100 Thieves Next and Radiance met, and Radiance did get off to some good starts, but as the game went on, you could see the Kenby difference coming on in. And I'm curious to see, how much has Avi grown as a player because he is a very young talent, was dominant in collegiate, but for me, it looks like he's almost struggled to, find the same sort of leads against better talent in the amateur scene, but he still has that potential. He's still growing, and it's going to be a good kind of like bar for him to reach. Has he improved as he goes up against Kenby once again, who hands down is the best jungler that we have in SGC.
You gotta watch out now. Now Avi, he's gonna turn around, he's gonna win the game, he's gonna dominate, and then he's gonna type in all chat #KenbyDiff. That's exactly what he's gonna do. But you know what a big diff is? That's right, ladies and gentlemen, that is our sponsor. Be sure you stay tuned. We got a word from our sponsor, Sector 6, coming up, and then we'll be right in the game.
Started with a vision. A vision of quality, a vision of uniformity.
We took the time to create something familiar yet refreshing, something with a bit of change.
Designed to fit any brand's unique vision.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Upsurge. We're into UPL all the way up in the upper bracket. We've got 100 Thieves Nets going against Radiance on the red side. And ladies and gentlemen, this is looking like it's going to be a classic. I'm Travis. I'm joined here yet again by Cubby. If you guys weren't here for the intros at the very beginning, you were missing out on the highest of details. But something to really take note of is this interesting draft. Andy Bandy, they got him on a very interesting combination down here in the bot side.
Yeah, and this is something that, Radiance, they love to play through Andy Bendy. You can see just how much gold that he has as, he is someone that really loves to, get the focus of Radiance. And meanwhile, Copy in that first round of playoffs was really a huge difference in getting out of lane, getting his team ahead. And he does have that priority in the mid lane this game. So keep your eyes on these two players as we dive into this match.
Yeah, I'm actually really looking for. I love the fact you bring that up because Azir is actually like a lane that you really want to get behind early on. This is a champion that really needs those core items, and a little bit of a scary situation. We got a delayed invade coming here from.
Yeah, this is something that 100 Thieves will do a lot, and they have such a strong level 1 from the Karma who can throw those Mantra Qs and Lee Sin, and Kenby is going to split the map, take that blue buff on the side of Radiance's map, and they did kill the ward, so Radiance, they do know, and we're going to have to see how Avi responds.
Yeah, it does look like it could be a possible bit of vertical jungling, just the standard thing. And this is what I was looking for. You were talking about it earlier, the zoning, but look at that. Karma misses one ability, and Sal immediately turns the aggression on.
Yeah, good stuff coming out from that bot lane of Radiance, which is so incredibly strong here in SGC as Kenby and Avi going to meet up, and Kenby's probably going to have to burn the flasher. He might actually be going down. He's going to have to get creative.
Yeah, there's going to be a Senna looking to cut him off. Is going to be able to jump over to Auto here very shortly, it looks like. Not going to be able to connect that with a little bit more damage. Just going to keep slowing him, poke him out of the jungle, tell him who's boss, and we'll be having to return back to his bottom quadrant of the jungle.
Yeah, that said, it's still a huge win for the side of 100 Thieves next because now Avi's on the wrong side of the map, right? He should be the one that is trying to take the blue buff on the side of 100 Thieves next, but he now finds himself taking the grop. He has nothing else to do.
Yeah, and check this out over in the bot side. Some very aggressive behavior coming out from Andy Benny. He's got the Senna. He knows he can be a little bit more aggressive, has a little bit more sustain built in.
Oh, no.
He's going to find out Jan. Jan's taking a huge amount of damage. Beautiful flash to come out, but that phase rush means you ain't getting anywhere, Slick, but not going to be able to connect the root by count. Now they're going to turn their attention over to Auto, and they're turning it back around. Andy Bendy taking a huge chunk of damage, but 100 Thieves will be able to escape with some Summoner's Burn.
Yeah, we talked about how Radiance loves to play through this bot set and Andy Bendy, and Avi's sacking an entire quadrant of the jungle just to go get bot as soon as possible, and they don't find any kills, but they do find a lot of summoner spells, and that sets up nicely for Avi to return later.
Check out the scuttle, by the way. Lee Sin, while this is all happening, Kenby actually turns around and says, I'm going to go ahead and take scuttle because that's going to be his next objective to be able to go for, but decides against it, doesn't finish it off, and instead tries to rotate mid and goes right back up to top. So Avi actually got the scuttle away from Kenby as Kenby was trying to sneak that away while that whole thing was happening.
It would have been a huge win if Kenby was able to take that. That said, he is still on this top side of the map, and the top quadrant of Avi's up as well. So if Kenby wants to poke his nose in and take some of those camps, he would get way ahead, but not going to be the case. Just going to go take his red buff and his wolves as we have some early resets coming in from the mid laners, from Avi as well. And
I'm packing there. Jan.
Hey, that's big. That's big.
He's trying to back in the same location. He sees you. Stop it. Oh, wait. The flash forward from Andy getting a very, very aggressive. We're going to have a TP coming on down to the bot side. They're going to have to try and burn down Yeon to try and get first blood. They're going to be successful at doing that. Copy's going to actually get stuck on some minions. It's going to make it to where it's a little bit of a harder situation. It's also going to be coming on out. They're going to be able to pick the kill onto Sal, but the root does connect, and Andy Bandy has a way out through the minions. Will he be able to continue forward? There is a flash available for Copy. The passive was up. Not going to be able to dodge that one on out. Taking the damage. The tether is there, and Andy Bandy says he's just going to waste a little bit of time as Copy and Auto will be able to find that kill.
Beautiful TP and sidestep coming in from Copy to dodge out on that empowered Q from Yasuo. And, we talked about Copy getting out of the lane early to help 100 Thieves next find advantages and utilizing that Cinder TP very nicely there as he turns around that bot lane play.
Yeah, and Jan immediately runs it over to the mid lane, picks up some farm. He says, yeah, I got this. Don't worry. I'll take some solo lane XP and some farm. No worries here. As finding himself getting dropped like that is definitely not how they would have preferred that play to go, but that's what happens when your summoners get burned super early like that.
Yeah, and that's big for the side of 100 Thieves next, because that takes so much momentum away from Andy Bendy and the side of Radiance. Once again, they love to play through his lane. He is such a strong AD carry, and the fact that Yasuo gets behind, loses his flash, it sets up nicely for Kenvi to make an appearance.
And with them playing through bot side, you got to think Drake is going to be a thing sooner or later. And I mean, honestly, with both teams already showing a little bit of prevalence down here on the bot side, yet again, Auto getting jumped onto, and they're really trying to hurt this Karma.
Yeah, good aggression coming out from the side of Radiance. Says, you know, Travis, you mentioned that Dragon being an early target for them, and they're going to utilize this bot lane prio to take that first monster objective.
Yeah, this is going to be good for them. Go ahead and grab that Mountain Drake. Get a little bit of armor and magic resist to your side. Not going to really matter too terribly much since nobody is really building that on this composition. But hey, you take it away from the opposition and get that next dragon ready to go, as it is going to be a Cloud Drake.
Yeah, so we're going to have to see which soul pops up onto the map. Ocean, strongest soul in the game. Still going to be a 50-50 on the table, but nice root coming out from Cal once again. He's been so strong on the Senna in the early game, landing a lot of these skill shots.
Yeah, the most important thing with this is because it is a marksman AD carry is the positioning, and Sal's been doing a great job at being able to just have that positioning. Look at this yet again. Andy Bendy gets right up in the face of Jan, and that wind wall is hurting, but Senna took a really bad trade there as Ingo getting jumped on too. Tenacity does take a bit of a damage back on there. Avi is here in the area.
Yeah, Avi having to show up in this top lane just to make sure Engo gets a good base.
World Ender got
here.
Radiance coming over. He's looking for possibly more. Not going to be able to find it. Syndra's going around the back. Is going to be looking for the wrap. Cutting off any escape. But down here in the bot lane, Andy Bendy is going to find himself getting tethered on up. Not going to be able to have the last breath just yet. They're going to have that wind wall as Jan is dancing around it. Sal's getting dropped down so very low as Andy Bendy trying to retreat this out. But it's going to be Sal that goes down. Now Andy Bendy, he's in a tragic situation. The hawk shot, the enchanted crystal are not going to be able to connect. But it is going to be a double kill that connects and goes over to Otto in the bot lane.
100 Thieves next, taking dominance on the map early as they have a 2v2 kill against the all-important bot lane of Radiance. And you can see Kenvi is actually taking the red buff of Avi and is starting to outpace him in the jungle as well. And this is what we expect from 100 Thieves next, right? They've been so dominant in the SGC this split, and they're already showing it in the early game here.
Yeah, and that's a scary thing, actually, because both junglers were over in the top side. That was no jungler intervention to come down to create that scenario, and that's what we ended up getting. And it was also based off of the fact that the bot lane moved up forward. But wait a second, the artillery getting fired in and goes in a terrible situation, but Tenacity is going to be in a bad spot as well. Beautiful flash coming out from Engo, dodging that one on out. Tenacity's dropped down so very low. Sal is here in the area. That sword flame not going to be able to connect. Beautiful flash from Sal, but not going to be able to connect for any further kills. Now Otto and Jan are going to be over here into the top side. No Enchanted Crystal Arrow is going to be available for Jan. He's trying to pursue onto this. They're going to be able to get the slew onto Sal and Engo. Engo is going to get rooted up, and it's going to be the Lee Sin going on in. He's going to be a trade of lives as they both go down. Now Jan going to be fought on back, but it's just going to be one more auto attack, and Jan finds his first kill in the game.
Man, and Kenvi and Tenacity really showing off their pure mechanical skill in that skirmish in the top lane. You could see Tenacity utilizing the vision, utilizing the flash to get out, and Kenvi, he ends up going down, but does have a trade as 100 Thieves next actually find the best of that as both bot lanes rotate up into the top side as the Dragon's already off the map, so all eyes are on the Rift Herald, and lots of action early, and 100 Thieves next getting the best of it in multiple lanes.
You said bot lane's going top. You're right. You know, Andy Bendy's now the new mid laner. He's been mid for a little bit now. He's just like, guys, I'm done with the 2v2. It's doomed. We're going mid. Run it down.
He's finding the safest spot to farm.
But I mean, this is very interesting though, because the Senna's over here as well, and this is very interesting movement coming out between the lane assignments.
Yeah, and I have to say, Radiance not getting the best of this one either, as 100 Thieves next going to take Rift Herald with little opportunity cost, as well as Ash drops down to help out when she already killed the wave. So
Otto is I just love the fact that Otto's solo laning against the Gangplank here. He's like, here's a tether, here's my mantra Q, you know, I'm gonna just hit you with a couple abilities and you're gonna enjoy it. But,
I mean, that's what happens when you're 303 on Karma's support, man. You become the mid laner again.
you got a Chalice, you got a Fiendish Codex, it's on, baby.
Oh yeah, he's got more items than Yon on Ashe.
And he's 303, 100% KP, and now Ingo's found himself in a tragic situation here as they're starting to tower dive over here. They got Herald that has been summoned, and that's going to be the enchanted crystal arrow that's going to spell his doom as he will go on down. Kimby gets dropped down very low. Now we're going to see the bot lane play to come on out. They're going to try and go for the dive here onto the Aatrox, get the last breath, but Andy Bandy was taking a lot of those tower aggro. This is such a messy dive coming from them. Tenacity living for so very long. He might actually pick up a kill here. He's looking for it. Oh, he doesn't get the slam, but scatter the weak and break their backs. A stat check for you and a triple kill for Copy.
Oh my gosh, Tenacity stalled out so much time with that botch dive, and Copy comes down to play hero, picks up not 1, not 2, but 3 kills over for 100 Thieves next. And man, Travesty, just like that, this game is all 100 Thieves next and is almost already over.
I mean, that was one hell of a stat check. Usually when I see a stat check, it's only on one opponent, not 3 of them at the same time. And you saw Copy come in there, have the positioning, have the right place, and a lot of credit. Like you said, Tenacity deserves so much credit there for playing that so cleanly and really making the most of the mistakes that 100 Thieves Radiance made inside of that dive.
And check out this replay. I mean, I want to point out, or I guess the replay broke, never mind, but Tenacity actually was able to sidestep the Graves ult, which it stalled so much time over for him under that tower, and he was a millisecond away from getting a double kill on his own as well. So well played out of the all-star top laner for 100 Thieves next, and honestly good to see him playing weak side and making the most of it.
And this is going to go back to a storyline that you were talking about. Well, not really much of a storyline, but a point that you had made earlier is the fact of this Ashe being able to bring the single target CC, being able to bring that decisiveness. Radiance really doesn't have that same thing. They don't have a way to stop Tenacity from being able to step all these different things. While over on the top side, yeah, Ingo has an orange, but what good is that really?
Yeah, it's not going to do too much good when you're facing the gold deficit that you're up against here. As you know, Tenacity continues to play. I'm going to put like weak side in quotations now, because with how far behind Andy Bendy and Cow are, he is actually able to take fights.
Yeah, he's actually just like, I don't care if it's a 1v2. That sounds like even odds to me. And Tenacity living up to his name, just being tenacious with how he is laning against these, and really just showing exactly how you play in these lane swap scenarios.
Yeah, and he really has not sacked too much CS or XP until this wave. Has played the last wave a little bit too aggressively, but that's what we love to see out of Tenacity, right? If he's going to make a misplay, it's because he is being over-aggressive, and so many times it does pay off for him because of how skilled he is as a player. But meanwhile, you know, as this top side goes down for the side of Radiance, we do have the response for 100 Thieves next. Copy trying to take that first or that second brick in the bot side as well, and is going to knock that one down.
Yeah, and man, I do have to say, like, you look at that, another tower does go down in favor of 100 Thieves. So they traded a tower for a tower here on opposite sides, but there was a lot of time actually there that Ingo was inside the mid lane, kind of just wandering about. And look at this, he's already found himself in a punishing situation with this Lee Sin Syndra, as he has no place that's safe for him.
Yeah, you can see them hovering that bot side, trying to hunt the gangplank, and he does have his flashback, as you know, in that top lane. We never got to mention it, but actually had a beautiful play, as we do have the replay now for that bot lane dive coming out from Tenacity. Is a bit delayed, but look at this outplay, as he's going to utilize that ultimate, get so much health back from landing those abilities. That's the sidestep on the Graves I was talking about, and this just kind of botched from Radiance. They took too many tower shots coming on in, and he almost is able to turn this one.
Yeah, it's just disgusting, really and truly. You look at how that play went, and it was just phenomenal. And you got to think there's a lot of tempo. There's mentality that you have to look at. And this is a best of 3, right? Like, this is a series that you do not want to find yourself losing out in the mental game. And that's a mental blow if I've ever seen one, whenever you have a failed dive. At least it is for me. Whenever I fail a dive, I'm like, man, I'm big stupid. I'm big dumb.
Yeah, I mean, like props to Radiance for going for that dive, because I really feel like not enough SGC teams actually go for and set up dives, but you're going to have to bring a little bit more to the table if you want to take down Tenacity, as you know, that botch play, it does put them very far behind 100 Thieves next. You cannot make any mistakes against them, as they've already snowballed this to a 6K gold lead, and they're hunting for more.
I gotta appreciate this bot lane synergy though from Radiance. They put down a control ward, same bush, same plays at the same time. That is the highest tier synergy right there. Not gold efficiency, but synergy nonetheless.
It's a mental win, right? That's really what we're going for at this point.
We still got it.
Yeah. As you know, from the early game pace, now that points are down, we do have the game slowing down just a bit, but still 100 Thieves next, pushing in these lanes, taking the jungle camps of Radiance and trying to put them even further and further behind us. You have to think that this dragon spawning in a minute here, as it is Ocean Soul, has to be all 100 Thieves next.
By the way, important thing to look at, especially when there is a Senna in the game, is the souls that have been collected. It's currently sitting at about 50-ish, 55-ish. Somewhere around inside of that range at this current moment, at the 16-minute mark. As a big thing to take note of is how are the souls being generated? Is Sal actually being able to grab the souls that are needed and be able to grab that? Because this is a very important part of being able to play Senna, is your soul generation.
Yeah, and it's a lot of hidden gold value going over to the side of Radiance, and it's not going to make up the 6K gold deficit they're in, but does help, and Senna does have that first item coming in, so more ward clear and control coming out for Radiance, and that's going to be important. As let's see if they make any attempt towards this dragon. If I'm them, I probably would not. You are going to need more items on Young Mid, who might be the sole chance that Radiance has to come back in this game, as he was the one that got out of lane rather well, but I don't think you'd want to fight a Syndra that has a Luden's Echo and a death cap at the 17-minute mark.
Oh, and Sal's going to be clearing out some wards over here in the top side. I am a little bit sad, though, because Lee Sin didn't go the Umbral Glaive build. I love that build personally on Lee Sin, just because it synergizes so well with him, and you get to keep your warding trinket, which is very nice. Just
he's going to do it next.
He is probably going to do it next, but
yeah,
first, man, it's just so much early fun. It just gives you some fun little insect moments all the time, and I just enjoy it.
Yeah, it does. That Black Cleaver, though, is going to really help Yawn and Tenacity pump out the damage, as he doesn't have his finish yet, as he, you know, it is the Aatrox. You want to build up that CDR to get all those Qs out in your kit, as, you know, Copy is shoving in the sideline. And Radiance, they might have a trap blade here for the side of 100 Thieves next.
Yeah, they go for the blind route. They're going to immediately get hit by Otto's Q there, as they're going to be like, oh, well, you missed, but I don't. And see what they'll be able to go for here is Copy could be in a very interesting situation here. Is going to be able to get the Scatter of the Week onto Young. The Emperor's Divide is going to come through Copy, taking a heaping amount of damage. The soldiers are his command, and that is going to be shut down in favor of Young. But Kimby's over here down in the bot side. They got the bot lane here. They're going to be able to get the stun onto the Graves. The wind wall's not going to be enough. As Abby is going to find himself slowly but surely going on down. Last breath going to be able to connect onto Kimby alone. Andy Bendy's in there deep, but he's going to find himself going down to Yon. There's going to be a trade 1-for-1 inside of that, and Young's going to jump on in. It's going to be another trade, a double kill, and now it's the Portal Combat! As Sal is going to be looking to chase down Otto, but these two supports are going to be able to escape from one another, and that is just going to be how it ends up going, a 3-for-3 between these two teams.
Yeah, very worth for Radiance. They get some shutdowns, and props to Young Mid. He is the member that is fed on the side of Radiance. Played very well in that fight, as you can see in this replay that we have queued up. Yes, I believe we are going to go into a replay now. As Yon gets the engage onto Avi, and I love the kick from Kenvi, you know, utilizing that flash to position himself better, but Andy Bendy goes in, and you can see Young Mid pumping out so much damage on this Azir.
Yeah, it's actually just disgusting. Young is at this point right now where he's got this Nashor's Tooth. He's actually going into Leandri's second, which is a very, it's going to be able to add to his DPS that he currently has. And it's going to be very, very nifty for him to be able to scatter up, because like we talked about in the early game, items are very, very important for the key members of this composition from Radiance, especially this Azir. You really want to see him kind of hit that 2 to 3 item power spike as quickly as possible.
Yeah, and Young has been the best performing member this game for Radiance so far, as he has picked up the farm and doing rather well in the mid lane against Copy, who was able to make plays outside of the waning phase, so props to him, but it means that Young is able to pick up the CS, and he's going to need to be the one that pumps out the damage, as, you know, Radiance, they have done a decent job of stalling this one out. Yasuo is on a lot of crit.
Yeah, it's very scary. And you got to think that when you're down this amount of gold, right? That's a very comforting villain to say, oh, well, we still went for an even trade there. We got a 3 for 3. That's actually got to be very comforting for Radiance, showing them that, wait, we can still scrap with them when we're the ones picking the fight. And they preach a little bit of proactivity for how they want to play out some of these fights and how they want to look for said fights.
Man, as I'm taking a peek at the inventory, as this Rift Shell is going to crash into the mid lane tower, Tenacity's going for Trinity Force on Aatrox. I have to say that this is somewhat interesting, but he is against the team of Squishy, so if any game it's going to work, I have to think it's going to be this one.
Yeah, I actually really like this build path. If you're against squishies like this and nobody's really going to build armor, like I hit on that a little bit with the mountain drake that came up that Radiance was able to grab. It does turn into, like, why build Black Cleaver? It's not going to be as useful as something like Triforce, except for the fact that Triforce is freaking expensive. So I do like this coming out from Tenacity. Might as well just be an absolute alpha Chad if you're going to be.
Well, if anyone's an alpha Chad, it's going to be Tenacity, as he has had himself a good game in the top lane, and he has played weak side for a lot of the map, but still finds himself sitting at this amount of XP and CS, which is rather impressive, and gonna have to see how the rest of 100 Thieves Next can do, as my eyes still go on to Young Mid for this game. If Radiance is going to come back, has to be off the back of the Emperor in the mid lane, and Young Mid, he's going to need to step up as one of the younger members of this team.
Yeah, we've seen actually Azir play be something that can turn around an entire game. If you guys tuned into LCS, right? Let's just to use an example. Over on 100 Thieves, this is actually a very interesting one. Ryoma had a fantastic game on the Azir and almost turned around an entire game against TSM on Sunday. So you can see that there's a big thing is Copy, you in the wrong neighborhood, man. That soul's going to spawn. That's going to let them know it's your last breath. Copy goes down.
Nice trapping laid by Radiance. I guess it's not a Fnatic brush, but like a Fnatic Gromp coming on in. I'm not exactly sure, but it works out either way, as they're going to take that kill and also take an objective. And 100 Thieves Next, they are going to respond with the Dragon, so puts them on soul point. But once again, Radiance, they already know they did not want to contest that, and they find something on the other side of the map as they give that objective away.
Hey, you know what? That's fine for them. You can't take the Cantrip Sprints, so you're just going to go ahead and hide with his long-lost cousin, the Gromp over there. So making use of what they can. The gold lead, though, has shrunk a bit. You were talking about it earlier. 6K has shrunk quite a decent chunk here in the past couple of minutes. Is anybody getting grabbed by Otto? Otto has tethered him up, but nobody is here to join him. Is Otto just going to go for a solo kill on Andy Bendy? Andy Bendy has got down so very low. The exhaust has been flat out. Otto has to run away, but that's not something you see every day. But that is Karma when a Karma is 3-0-7 and has an Athenes and an Ardent Censored.
Otto, man, he's just tired of playing support. He wants to go back to his carrying ways of AD and trying to do it on the Karma here, reckless style with all the items he has. You can't take a 1v3 though. We're gonna have to hop out of that.
Are we sure that Tenacity's the Giga Chad?
Yeah, no, the Karma Chad pick coming on out. Yeah,
Tenacity's the Alpha Chad. We got Giga Chad, Alpha Chad, Karma down here in the bot lane. This is a person who is the head of the frat house.
Hey man, Cal and Otto, they're picking all these carry picks, carry Karma. It exists. They're trying to make it work. We got carry Senna coming on out. They're tired of being stuck on Braum duty. They just wanted the new game.
You know what? I can get along with that. Listen, I will say that every single day of the week. As a support main, please, for the love of God,
dude, why are all casters support mains? Every single caster is a support main.
Listen, man, it's just the biggest brain roll, right? Like,
that's true.
I'm a Bard main myself. Me and Kangas have a lot of discussion about Bard and who has the superior Bard. As a constant topic between the two of us whenever we do talk. And yeah, it is just best champion in the game.
Well, I don't know if I'm proud or disappointed to say this, but I was #1 Brahmin A earlier this season, so we're gonna have to see how that one works out. But before the good players cut off me in GM.
I was about to say when it comes down to Braum play, if you're #1 in Braum, your teammates love you. You might have some self-esteem issues there, though.
Yeah, I got some old man mechanics. We got some old man mechanics.
But here we go.
We got to fight.
Tenacity going to get jumped onto. Lots of damage being put on him. Collateral damage not going to be able to ease him on out. Now we got the Emperor's Divide to come on in as the Dragon Rage kick is going to be able to fly high. Young Mig going to be able to get out of there scot-free. They do grab a tower for their deed there over in the top lane.
You know, the fact that 100 Thieves Next are stalling out this game, it still bodes well for them, right? They're on Soul Point. They don't need to do anything fancy, although they are going for some plays. They're still playing primarily on Radiance's side of the map, and with this Dragon spawning soon, I really don't see any weeds coming in for Radiance that could turn it. Yes, Yasuo's a 100% crit, but still going to be difficult for him to engage fights. And it's really going to be on Young Mid. Is he going to be able to find that Flash Shurima shuffle or that Emperor's Divide that can really, make it so Andy Bendy can pop off against this team? If not, they're going to be staring down Ocean Soul rather soon this game.
Yeah, it's been a weird situation because honestly, when we've seen Andy Bendy on this last breath, he's been able to get in there and get the ultimate off, but he's only hitting one target. And that kind of comes into the problem of you only really have one person to assist you with your knockup. He doesn't have any big AoE that's easy to pull off, and that's kind of a glaring problem that a lot of people run into whenever they run Yasuo.
Yeah, and when you pick Yasuo, like we've often seen it paired with picks like Gragas, where once you get that level 6 rolling in, it's easy to snowball the game, right? Because you can find those multi-man knockups, Yasuo being strong early, and you can play so incredibly fast, but as the game goes later and Yasuo doesn't have all the tools, it's difficult for Radiance to really get things going, and they weren't able to do that against 100 Thieves Next, and now what do they face? They face a very fed Syndra, they face a 3-item Ashe, and they're staring down Soul Point once again, and it's Ocean Soul. So we have to see a massive team fight breaking out at this Dragon because Radiance, I feel like they've intelligently dropped the last 2, but they do not have a choice at this one.
They got to keep our eyes on that. We also need to keep our eyes on the wind wall usage because it can help negate a lot of this lead because you know what? What good is a lead if you can't hit them? But we do see them kind of barreling down over here and a very interesting scenario as Radiance is running down to this bottom side area.
Yeah, so Tenacity, he did get off a late reset, which gives Radiance, first crack at taking control of this river as utilizing those extra brushes from Ocean Soul to try and mask their spot in the bot lane as this game's starting to get rather tense.
Yeah, they know they're there. This could be very, very spooky. But check this out. They have the inside track. This is actually so big for 100 Thieves. They can actually just forego the Drake and just go for the inhibitor here. This is just free for them. They're going to freely take an inhib.
Yeah, this gives them a lot of map pressure, but it won't help them for the next Ocean Drake. And you can see the Radiance, they're trying to make the call that GP ult's not going to be enough. This inhibitor's going down.
Yeah, this inhibitor goes down. It's melted like butter. There's an Ashe there, buddy. And it's got a Karma with an Ardent Sensor behind him. It's just, that thing's done. It has been melted. But they will grab a Drake, so no Ocean Soul to come into play just yet. But now they have the momentum that they're carrying over to the Baron pit.
This would be interesting. This might be the play that 100 Thieves Next was trying to set up as they're starting this Baron. They don't have a tank, but they do have Karma Shields and Death Stance on Aatrox. We're gonna have to see how this
they're looking for the pick. They're gonna be able to find him. Mango's going to go down. Kimby is gonna be a little Emperor's Divide. Going to be able to hit Shurima, shuffle him on back. That's gonna be a shutdown that goes over in favor of Yon. Now Yon's gonna be chased on down. That is a shutdown. The team of 100 Thieves Nets are completely scattered right now. We're gonna have to see how they'll be able to play this out. The HP bars are dropping down a little bit lower. Copy's gonna be able to lay out a little bit of damage onto Young, and they're
gonna take this
on over. But Radiance, are they going to look for the fight still further? Tenacity could be looking for something possibly here. Sao trying to keep everybody healed on up. They're going to be able to get a huge amount of damage. Copy going ahead and taking one. They're going to be able to find another as Tenacity pulls up his janitor. He's got him in there. Avi has to flash away. And it is going to be Avi. Will he get out here? The World Enders actually just got popped. He's not going to be able to escape here. There is no retreat from the collateral damage. Will only take you so far. He pops the phase rush, but it's not enough speed to be able to say, wait. There, okay. There we go. All right, we waited long enough.
It's just style points coming in for 100 Thieves Next. Not every team would take a 3v4.
That's game.
Yeah, it's game coming on in. Not every team would take a 3v4, but they will as they are out of minions. Okay, it's still game coming on for them as 100 Thieves Next, man, winning in style. Oh my gosh. Okay, that
was a very stylish
finish. That was a fed Syndra.
That was a very stylish finish. I love the ending there where the game plan got kicked into a Syndra scattered a week to obliterate his entire HP bar. Exquisite ending, really Gotta get
Honestly, it was a
fine.
good fight for Radiance. Like, they split up the fight. They got the Ashe. Yes, they lost the Gangplank right away, but at
Mhm.
least they, had a path to take out one of the carries of 100 Thieves next. But, props to them. A lot of teams in SGC, they wouldn't take that 3v4, but 100 Thieves next, they saw the angle. They take the fight and utilize that gold advantage to its strongest. As they just win the game off that.
And it looks like we actually have a replay if we do want to go ahead and take a note to look at it here. As you can see, the damage that came out here, there's a big point to look. The Scatter of the Weak was used there, and it wasn't even the Unleashed Power that is what killed everybody here, as you can
Yeah.
see.
Well, Senna, she's invisible now, but you're actually going to watch her pull an even better trick when she gets blown up by the Syndra here, as she just gets caught. Yeah. That's a Fed Syndra. And Tenacity, he has all the AoE damage coming in those knockups, and there's a long chase for Graves. We don't need to see that. What we do know is that it was a clean, well, not necessarily a clean one, but a win nonetheless coming out for 100 Thieves next as they take game 1 and continue their dominance in all of SGC against Radiance.
Yeah, and a thing that we do have to look at going into game 2, right? Copy had a fantastic performance here and really showed up. And like you were talking about earlier, Copy really put on his big carry pants, was very dominant inside of this game, and really was a force to be reckoned with. So we're going to have to see what Radiance is going to have in their pocket to try and turn the tide back in their favor. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to give all the teams a little bit of a time to catch their breath, get ready for our game 2, as 100 Thieves are going to be the leading the way 1-0. Be sure to stay tuned, as we'll be right back. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome on back to UPL. We are getting into the hotness as 100 Thieves net able to pick themselves up a fantastic game one victory for themselves, picking up an early lead inside of this series against Radiance, but they're not down and out yet. I am Travis C. I am joined here with my co-caster Cubby. And Cubby, let's talk about a little bit of what happened and what are we going to look to see going into this Nets game.
Honestly, I feel like the Yasuo pick didn't pay off for Radiance, and I really don't like the setup that they had around it. I get the fact that Sunny Yasuo can be an annoying lane to deal with, like go up against, but Karma Ashe is so incredibly strong, and I really think that's shown through. Even though the 2v2 didn't go exactly to plan for Radiance, they did a good job of playing their way back in, but it was too late at that point. And when you're up against a team like 100 Thieves next, every single mistake you make is going to get punished and put you further behind. And I think that really shown through in game one.
Yeah, their plans were to get scrappy, but instead they all got scrapped, it seemed like, and they weren't able to really get the combination that they wanted to do, right? Like, they didn't get that huge, like, impact Emperor's Divide with the Yasuo, and I feel like if you're going to pick the Yasuo, you need a little bit better of a supporting cast, because as we saw in the replays and whatnot, Kabi honestly got to take over that game because, Syndra's a champion. I think with the nerfs that they've made, sure, sweet, you're nerfing Syndra a little bit. But this is a champion that has very, very easy poke to land. And I think that's something that was definitely highlighted inside that last game around that Baron pit. Just constantly firing off those Qs. Those orbs were sitting there laying out some damage. And then finally, one scat of the week annihilates an HP bar. Like a team-wide stat check like that is disgusting.
I mean, I think the Syndra had death cap plus Ludens at like 17 minutes into the game, which is just gross. And from then on, I mean, Syndra is going to be able to eliminate one member of the match. And they had tools to deal with it. Like they had Yasuo's wind wall, and it just wasn't enough, right? Like 100 Thieves next did a good job of stalling out those cooldowns in the 3v4 between Copy, Kenby, and Tenacity against the rest of Radiance at the end, really shows just how skilled those players are as they play that fight very well.
Yeah, honestly, they did. And you got to look at players like Tenacity playing very well as well, looking at that last game. And also, you got to give so much credit to Jan and Otto. You were talking about the Ashe Karma. They took a team like you talked about earlier where Andy Bandy, they've been doing so much work playing through the bot side, but Jan and Otto come up with a good way to kind of counteract it. They play off constant mistakes from Andy Bendy and Sal being a little bit too over aggressive, and they just play out the lane like that. And then all of a sudden, there's a Karma that's 3-0-1 and is 1v1ing anybody on the team of Radiance.
Yeah, I think that the Ashe pick caught Radiance very much off guard because I could see going into this like why you'd take the pick ban that you would, because Senna Set and Senna Maokai have been two very good lanes for 100 Thieves next, as Otto actually looks very good on a support when he's given some more gold. So I would not be surprised if the Ashe pick kind of caught them off guard there, as it's a pick that is very strong, especially in the Eastern Hemisphere over there in the LPL and the LCK, and we've seen start to crop up in the West, but we've yet to really see it in SGC, and I've been wanting more teams to play it, and I'm very much happy that 100 Thieves next pulled it out, but I'd be surprised if Radiance wasn't expecting that pick to come through.
I'm going to ask you a question, all right, Cubby? Your whole entire career is going to stake on this, all right? You ready for it?
Oh, God. No.
Hold on. We're gonna play a game here. You want to play a game?
Okay. Do I want to? I mean, what's the game? Of course I want to play a game.
All right. We got three choices. Syndra is either going to be first pick banned or is just going to go through the entire pick ban draft.
Ooh. I think 100 Thieves next actually takes it off the table. Young, his most played champ in solo queue is Syndra. A very strong Syndra player in Young mid. So I think that they ban it. We'll see if my career ends right now.
We're going to see.
Yeah, we're going to have to see.
Exciting moment. Clip it. Show it to him. So far, career's looking kind of that's a whole
Prophet Cubby coming on through, yeah. Volibear coming on through. We're gonna have to see. Also, it's still blue side, so Varus actually went unpicked and banned in that last game. We're gonna have to see if 100 Thieves next does pay that Varus tax. We've still seen a lot of teams pay.
Your career's safe.
Let's go. Big
Cubby,
time.
You're so smart. Able to see.
I did some research, man. Did some research.
That's so Cubby. New show, I ship it. With that being said, Radiance, they're putting their focus down into the bot side. They're saying that Karma will definitely very annoying. Ezreal is a very annoying champion as well. So we'll see what else they decide to ban away. As they did ban away Aphelios last game, but it's going to be the Kalista.
What does Radiance have up their sleeve? They're banning away the 2 champs that Andy Benny performs best on, and maybe they're setting up for a Varus first pick or an Ashe. I mean, Varus is going to be on the board, but are they going to take away the Senna once again? I'm very curious about this because Radiance feels so good when they play through Callista in that bot side of the map, but gonna be the first pick of Felios, and we're gonna have to see if 100 Thieves Next can build the appropriate comp to counter this beast of an AD carry once it gets to 2-3 items.
Yeah, and when it comes down to Aphelios is a disgusting champion. I think that was their plan, right? Radiance banned Aphelios last time, so they're saying we're gonna first pick it, and we see a lot of teams falling back to the strategy because he is such a very, very strong champion in the right hands. And once you're able to get your guns assorted in the right order that you want them in, and once you're able to have so many things go on, you get the 200 games of 200 years of game development, that memes that get to fly out there. But honestly, in the hands of a skilled player that's very on track with what Aphelios does, so terrifying. But that's a set right there, and that's a Graves gets locked in beside of it. So
yeah, they're gonna R3 Senna as well. Radiance should know this one, and we'll see what kind of game plan they have around it. Once again, 100 Thieves Next taking that ramping into the jungle, as Graves can very much outpace any other jungler that he goes up against. I'm curious to see, does Radiance go with a Kindred? It does pair very well with Aphelios, can help get him alive, survive that dive, and it would force 100 Thieves Next to take some sort of terrain scaling, as it looks like the Kindred's going to be hovered. Continuing the Prophet Ship going on through, or possibly a Fiddlesticks. I'd love to see this pick. They could flex it in the next phase of pick ban.
Yeah, it's actually a very good flex pick, actually, at this current moment in time. You can play it inside the jungle, you can play it inside the mid lane, you can technically play it top lane if you really want to as well, but unfortunately, Radiance just giving us a little bit of a slight tease there, going back to the Kindred. So I think that's what are they going to grab? Is this their Prophet moment? You were talking about the Senna earlier. Is it the Senna?
I will happily bet my career on this one. The first game wasn't much my choice. This one, I'm all in on, because Tenacity, he has not played set yet. Auto plays it very well. I think both teams know there's going to be a Senna coming on through, but that said...
Oh, wow, he bet his career on it, and it worked out.
The Prophet... Do I get this, do I double up? Do I get to move up now? We're going to have to see.
I was about to say, that was actually some impressive work. If I wore a hat, I would tip it for you, man. But with that being said, we're going to go into the second ban phase here. Ornn going to be banned away, and I have to see what exactly the bans are going to look like, especially since these solo lanes you were talking about, none of them have been picked up. So this top mid are going to have some focus.
Yeah, I think that Radiance, they might take away some healthy blind pick mids coming on through, because it is 100 Thieves. They're going to counter that top lane, but already banning out Tenacity's Aurelia, which somehow made it through pick ban. That's very rare that it does, but gonna find the ban this time around. 100 Thieves Next taking away some of the stronger weak side top laners as well. One pick that 100 Thieves could blind for top side is Gangplank, so curious to see if they end up going with that. I don't think it's fantastic into the Kindred, but once again, terrain is a very good way to deal with Aphelios, and that is a pick that brings a lot of terrain to the table with those barrels, with that ultimate coming on down, can make life much more difficult for that long-range AD carry.
Yeah, Gangplank is open, the Aatrox is open, and it does look like they're going to be opting into the possible Gangplank ban here. So, underneath that, they do have the Aatrox. You can still blind that very effectively. So, we'll have to see if they go for that, or if they're going to get the materials over to copy yet again to...
Should be an Azir pick coming on through. Very good into the Kindred. Once again, terrain is a good way to deal with the Aphelios Kindred combo, and that Emperor's Divide, you can take people off of the Lamb's Respite, split up the fight, and fits in very well. Ooh, we're actually going to have a Zoe come on through. Okay, so once again, blinding mid is what we expect, but 100 Thieves Next setting themselves up for more of a siege comp, so trying to avoid some of these team fights. They want to start sieging down these turrets and get ahead early.
Yeah, I've actually been... I was about to say, if they lock in Fizz, I'll be all about it. I'll be all about it. We'll have to see what
they could run Cassidy. Aphelios has wave clear once he gets Hurricane.
Yep, you can definitely run that. They are hovering the Azir, so I think it's going to be another Azir. Young had a pretty good game on the Azir last time around, so see what they'll do with some more materials built around them. Now we got the top lane pick, and I'm curious if they're going to go back to the Fiddle. They're teasing me again, I feel like.
Teasing the Fiddle once again. Don't think it's going to be that, but another weak side top laner, we could still see Wukong. It is on the table. Not sure exactly who Tenacity would take into that, as Mordekaiser hovered would work as well. Could split up the fights, but could just be the very safe blind pick of the Aatrox. So Tenacity, he has his pick of the litter in terms of champions that he does want to play into this. Camille is something that comes to mind as something that he hasn't shown, but I assume he can play. And Mordekaiser as well, splitting off someone from the Lambs Respite could be very strong and needs, with forced QSSs to come out from the side of Radiance as well.
Yeah, Wukong is opens too as well. Like he was banned in the last game, but is going to look like it's going to be the Mordekaiser here. So we are going to see the Mordekaiser versus Aatrox matchup over inside of the top lane. Going to be fun to be able to watch that one out. And I do want to kind of take it a notch back because we've seen this draft now. It's been completed. And I want to kind of talk about the fact that the scrappiness that has gone on inside of this meta here, where there's so much poke, so much easy to land abilities and stuff like that, how Zoe's kind of come back into relevance, kind of faded away for a little bit of time. And then people were like, oh, we're playing this type of composite. Wait a second. Zoe's really good. Nobody's building tanks. Nobody's picking tanks.
Yeah.
Like, we're going these scrappy builds, and Zoe's so good at doing that.
Yeah, Zoe's something that never really left the pro scene. Like, it was a very high priority pick, especially over here in NA, where it felt like every single mid lane game was LeBlanc versus Zoe, as mid jungle was so important in the last split. But for amateur, games are usually a little bit sloppier. They go a little bit longer. We've seen some less Zoe, but for 100 Thieves next and Copy, it's a pick that, they can get mid lane prio with. They can start to siege down. And with a team so strong that looking to have a strong early game, once you take away that first set of outer turrets from the side, of Radiance in this case, it opens up the map for Zoe and makes her so incredibly strong. The way to really defeat her is to knock down those towers, and with all the early game that 100 Thieves Next have at their disposal and their raw skill as a team, I feel like it's a really good game for Zoe, and she could do some work in this one.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you talked about terrain advantage being a thing, but you know what is a better advantage is when you're able to just pop them, right? You put somebody to sleep and you just make them go, oh God, oh God, oh God, don't hit me, don't hit me, don't hit me. That's a paddle star. All right, I'm dead. It is a terrifying place to be inside of. And honestly, with this kind of a composition that they've got here, I do like 100 Thieves Net's composition for doing that. They have a good composition of kind of picking apart the pieces of a fight, and they do have a very interesting way of fighting around team fights, while Radiance has a much more standard composition, I feel like, in terms of what they want to do. They have big brain damage of Azir Aphelios, and I feel like that's their focal point for sure.
Yeah, Radiance brings a ton of disengage to the table, and also playing Aphelios Lulu into Senda Set. If they can survive that lane, it's going to be very strong as it scales into the game. The one thing I'm worried about, for the side of 100 Thieves Next is that they are lacking on the engage. It's going to have to be Auto, who most likely will go for that Dead Man's Plate on the farming set in the bot lane. He's going to have to pick the fights, but they do have a window because Radiance, they're going to have to build the QSSs on their side, and if they don't, Tenacity just gets to pull someone into the Death Realm and take them down, and my eyes for him really go on to Kindred and Lulu to take them in, take away some of those essential tools that can help Aphelios peel, and that way 100 Thieves can actually attack that pick instead of going for the Aphelios outright, because most likely he is going to build that early QSS.
I'm just looking forward to a world where we get to see Set like pile drive a Kindred out of their ultimate, right? Like the Lance Respite goes down and he's like, all right, it's time, brother. You and me, 3 minutes in the steel cage. Oh yeah. And he just like grabs them and just chucks them away. It's gonna be a fantastic time. I'm ready to be able to see that. And,
he'd have to show him who the cream of the crop.
The cream of the crop.
Yeah, the cream of the crop. Whoever climbs to the top there, as usually it's a Mordekaiser. So I'll have to work on my impression. As we start to dive into game 2. But I don't know. I'm excited to see these two teams go up against the Rift once again. It's going to be really fun. These are two of the bigger orgs, a lot of talent on each roster, and 100 Thieves Next. They've gotten the better of them so far, but we'll have to see if Radiance can finally get that answer.
Yeah, I honestly 100% agree with that, because you look at Radiance and they have this interesting scenario where they didn't really lose convincingly. They were picking fights when they were 6K behind, so I'm going to be very interested in that. But you know what else I'm very interested in, Cubby?
What would that be, Travesty?
I'm interested in the highest level of gaming peripherals. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. You already know what I'm going to talk about here. I am going to talk about the ever so lovely sponsors of Kona. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to talk about Kona right now, right here, right now. Usually it would take me a little bit more time to go into it, but I think this is a proper place to be able to talk about it because it gives me more time to talk about them. It is where you'll be able to find the finest of gaming keyboards and gaming peripherals for you to be able to have. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, if you go over to there, that is KONO.store. You'll be able to have the finest keyboard that you ever be able to grace your fingertips with. It'll be making you do all sorts of things. You'll be able to do a Macho Man impersonation if you get a Kono keyboard. Don't hold me to that, but hey, you won't know until you buy one. So make sure you go ahead and buy one. You can go ahead and check them out. They have some really nice stuff, honestly, and their keyboards are nothing but the finest. I really enjoy them, and they got everything for you. If you want to be the edgy anime kid that loves Sasuke and all that other stuff, they got the edgy keyboard for you, right? You want to be the normie kid, they probably have the normie keyboard, but let's be honest, you don't want to be a normie, right? Make sure you guys check them out. And like I said, it's kono.store. That's KONO.store. That being said, we're going to take ourselves a short break. When we come back, we'll be getting into game 2, as currently 100 Thieves Nets are at match point. Do not touch your browser. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to where we're going to be able to see all of the finest action here over here in the UPL. We got 100 Thieves Nets and Radiance. Currently, 100 Thieves Nets are 1 game up, but let me tell you what, there is going to be a fantastic game, and if you're ready for that, give me a hell yeah in the chat because this is going to be looking hot. Cubby, what are you feeling right now? We got emotes from Cubby. He's got a cute little toad.
I like that. There's no Tom Kench in the game, though.
Yeah, there's still no Tom Kench. We're bringing in all the relatives of Tom Kench, right?
Is that like, I feel like that looks like the toad that like hops out before Gromp spawns. Like, you know what I'm talking about? Where they hop out like the 3 like mini toads and then they form like the 1 like giant man, which is the Gromp.
I like to think that emote is actually Tom Kench's like nephew. That's what I personally like. That's the lore that I have built inside of my own head. And that's what I'm going to stick with, and that is law.
I mean, fortunately for me, I don't have that much lore knowledge inside of my head, but I do have Hyper in my ear, which usually can get the job done. So we might have him research, is Gromp related to Tom Kench? We're going to have to find out, but hold the phone because we've got a late invade coming on in from 100 Thieves, as is tradition from them. Looking to pressure the red buff, but this time, Radiance wants to answer.
Yeah. If it's not power levels, Hyper ain't about it. But with that being said, we're going right into this red buff skirmish. This is looking very interesting. It just wants to go home, guys. Stop pushing it around. This is just bullying at this point in time. Avi's going to look to lay out the wolf, trying to lay out a little bit of damage. They're going to be able to lock up Kindred. They're trying to see if they can successfully get this. It is going to get it. Avi is going to be able to secure that, even though the Zoe rotated over.
I've got to admit, I see 100 Thieves do this almost every single game.
No. Glitter Lance Connect, a beautiful flash from Avi. This is going to force Otto's flash. He's going to continue this chase on forward. He's going to jump on the Yon. That's going to be another summoner blown as the heal has been used. And now they're still having to run away. Graves can't even take his blue buff, but they might be running into the arms of an angel. He flashes back. He's going to stun them all up, and Avi is going to go down. Thank you for the red buff. Transferred over to Kenby, and now he's going to be looking to jump onto Sal. Is going to be able to have another root. He's still in there, laying out the damage. Andy Bendy going to be able to find himself up another kill here in the bot lane, as this is ever so messy. Andy is still laying out the damage. Jan dropped down so low. The press the attack is there. The stun to come on in. He bought the cleanse. Can he get one more? And he finds himself another kill. He turns it to this other gun and he starts firing away as Otto has to retreat.
All right. Well, I don't know if Hyper had clown music going on like in the background, but we had quite the fiesta there at level. Avi gets the steal, but unfortunately just got it turned around by the side of 100 Thieves next. And what I was going to say is they go for late invade so often in so many games, and I have to say, I think that's the first time I've ever seen Kenby actually lose one of those, as he does find himself behind in this early jungle matchup.
Yeah, and honestly, a little bit over cocky, I would say, from Avi's part there. But thankfully, Andy Bandy was able to capitalize on it because the side of 100 Thieves, they got a little bit too aggressive. They got a little bit too comfortable. They said, oh, we got one. We can get 2 easily. And now Aphelios is coming into the lane with a pickaxe.
Yeah, and, if this champion didn't scale hard enough, the fact that he's walking in the lane with a good old PTA pickaxe setup, that's going to feel really good for the side of Radiance and Andy Bendy, as that is their primary carry, getting off to a good start as
he's Otto 3 already.
he's laying down the Fist of Fury against the level 1 Lulu, so she's trying to pick up those some XP. That was quite the level 1 that we just had.
Yeah, it was so crazy, and it's not done yet.
Boy.
We are going to have the Goon Squad coming over into the mid lane. Young trying to get out of harm's way is going to be able to get a good dash out of there. Going to be laying out a little bit of damage, but Jan and them have been laying in some work into him as and go over in the top lane, trading with tenacity, laying those blows back and forth.
Yeah, this is a lane that, as Mordekaiser gets items, he does do better into the Aatrox, but early Aatrox does have the advantage, as Engo, I actually love the lane state he has it in, as really holding it back as Kenby.
They're looking for more. Avi's trying to make sure he can invade for the mark. He's trying to invade together with the
going for it.
He does not have Aphelios there in front of him, as Avi is going to find himself dropping. That's going to be a kill that goes over to Otto. Now Otto is in hot pursuit, looking to keep this pressure on. The heal comes out, not going to be able to get the snare on anybody, but now he's going to get dropped down to critical status, and Kenby will find a kill for himself. Now, Andy Bendy trying to turn this around and fight back to Otto, but does realize that he cannot trade for much longer and will have to back it up.
All right. Well, we did have Avi land that first smite, but now Kenvy's angry, and Kenvy's really laying down his mark on this game. He's 2-1-2, gonna take this first dragon, and Avi just finds himself so far behind in this matchup as it's gonna be really difficult for the Kindred to come back now as Kenvy.
Yeah, he's got very low. Yeah, he's got it. He smited early. He had to smite a little bit early. He had to have Jan. He's like, Jan, please, you can get some souls here. Please, come up.
That's true. You can get 2 souls.
But, ooh, they get a lot down onto Otto. It's going to just lay him down into low HP moment. But he has that huge shield from the Haymaker to come through. And I'll be the play to make for him. And I just want to take a moment. Look at the fact that he went for what the resources they put into that to get Avi his mark and what came out of that.
Yeah, I mean, not worth it for Avi whatsoever. He finds himself so far behind. And Otto playing aggressive.
Yeah, Otto is playing aggressive. Exactly what you want to do when you're playing this this set in the bot lane. You really want to be very aggro. Don't want to let them just sit back and scale. As he does have that Haymaker shield that's so nice.
Okay, well, you know, we do still have some action potentially in the top lane.
In the top lane,
He's got 6.
He's in the death realm. He's dancing. No. He is dying. Avi does not level 6. He is going to go down, and Tenacity finds a great pick and an assist for Kenvy there as well.
And Engo going to try and get some harass down on Tenacity, but cannot overextend as looks like Copy just picked up Redemption and dropped a bot to help out Otto. So
that's why I hate Zoe.
That's why everyone hates Zoe.
Zoe is literally helping out other lanes without even leaving her own.
At least it wasn't a TP.
It's true. As Tenacity looking to lay some damage on the Urga there. Copy couldn't get shuffled back into the tower, forcing away the flash by Copy. But Copy will be able to get out of that as had the unsealed spellbook as well. So it does have that heal in the pocket.
Yeah, so, you know, we do have... you know, we talked about Avi being drastically far behind of this Graves, but on the bright side, at least Andy Bendy is off to a very good start this game. That wasn't the case in the last game. By this time, you know, they were already double killed, and that is Radiance's win condition, right? Playing through Andy Bendy, making sure he has himself a good time in that bot lane, and so far, so good there for the side of Radiance, and that is always their win condition.
Yeah, I mean, and Aphelios is a very good win condition, I feel like. No matter what you look at, whatever team you look at, like, is one of those things where you hate to see it on the enemy team, but you love to have it on your side. And if your only 2 kills are on Aphelios at this point in time, you're still like, okay, that's fine. We just got to make sure we clean up some of these little messy beginnings that they've been having. As Abby has been really torn apart on this Kindred, 0-3-1 currently.
Yeah, and not only is he 0-3-1, but he is also only sitting on 1 mark. So, you know, 4 is the magic number for Kindred to get that extra range to really get into a more comfortable spot in this game, and is going to have a really tough time acquiring more marks as Kenvy invading this top side of the map. He's going to get this blue buff.
Yeah, Moonlight Vigil actually was used down there in the bot side as an interesting thing, trying to trade with Yon, seeing if he'll be able to lay out enough DPS, probably trying to see if he can push him off, but anybody is playing this Aphelios fairly aggressively. He is very happy to use his spells whenever he can. As he's burning out some of the ammo on this gun. He's going to be able to just save this red gun for a little bit later.
Yeah, I really like how Cal's playing this matchup, utilizing that polymorph to prevent Otto from, you know, knocking those fists together and pulling Andy Bendy in. And also the glitter lance to make sure that Otto can never really get in range, giving a lot of safety over to Andy Bendy, which is great.
And Tenacity are fighting each other over here in the top lane. The World Ender has been popped by Engo. Tenacity has that Bramble Vest, so he's being able to reduce a lot of that healing. We do have the Kindred over here. He's not level 6, so he's not going to be able to use that Lance fight. Coming on in. Evie is going to be looking for it and will find Tenacity. Now Kenvy in a tricky spot. He's going to have it. Level 6 granted over the Abby. He has to stay inside the dome as Copy's going to be coming over here looking for the Paddle Star. Not going to be able to get it in the nick of time as he does pick up that flash, scoops it up, and gets out of harm's way. Now we see the set trying to go one forward. Otto trying to see what kind of damage he'll be able to put out. The Haymaker is not going to be able to connect fully. Trying to lay out some more damage. That's going to be the Knight popping onto Andy Bendy. Andy Bendy is going to get bit. and that is going to be a shutdown going over to Otto as they're going to be continuing this chase underneath the tower. Not going to be able to get the phase breaker, but it is going to be Otto having to have the heal used by Jan. Oh, Shadow goes down, Jan.
American Sniper coming out as High Noon. You know, I guess they met at midnight. I'd say that's a cheater gun for meeting at midnight or noon. But Jan gonna make it happen as the double kill comes through, and man, that is 2 games in a row. And we came in touting how good Radiance's bot lane is, but 2 games in a row where 100 Thieves next, they get the double kill in the bot lane in the straight up 2v2. That's huge for them.
Yeah, Jan and Otto says, screw everything else. We're going to just flip the narrative of this game. Let's talk about us, as Jan playing like he is playing Red Dead Redemption. You got Deadeye, and you don't miss once you're locked in.
And meanwhile, the sniper taking care of the bot lane as the shotgun taking down the dragon. Have to imagine those pellets, sting the hide of any dragon quite a bit. Is going to be a mountain soul this game, so that does benefit. I'd say pretty much neither team. Honestly, it does benefit Radiance more having the late game comp. Any resistances that you can get onto Azir and Andy Bendy on this Felios, it helps prevent 100 Thieves next from really attacking these picks, which they're going to need to do to win.
And hey, if you get the soul, a shield is always not a bad thing. As we do see Otto taking a little bit of damage, but like I said before, that Haymaker is such a great utility. But now we are seeing the dive coming on down here into the bot side. They're just jumping on to Andy Bandy here. They said you may have gotten 2 kills, but here's 2 deaths back to back. Here's looking at you, kid. Jan trying to get into range, trying to lay out a little bit of damage. Not going to be able to get the root, but they are going to summon Shelly down here in the bot side. Needs to be careful. There is a Zoe, and he's going to zip-zoop out of there.
I kind of like that coming in from Jan. You can see him playing around with the auto attacks. I think he was canceling those on purpose, trying to bait the flash or get a dodge out of Callus who can, have an easier time landing that skill shot. That said, not going to go through. As with that rotation, we do have Avi getting another mark, so that does put him up to 3. And Young Mid going to crash a wave into the mid lane as well. And curious actually to see the Super Soaker being set up here from Copy for his first item.
Young looking for it, going to be able to get that Vengefulness Divide onto Copy, is going to use that heal and is out of harm's way already. Copy now going to jump back in. The soldiers get back into the face of this Zoe, as it is just going to be some wave clears. Kimby is there to back him up. Game is anybody's getting jumped onto yet again here.
Oh, no.
Maybe a tragic situation. Polymorph has been used. They're going to be able to use that Moonlight Vigil. He's going to go ahead and pile drive him back into the bush. Can he take him down? Andy Bandy finds the kill before he goes down himself. Jan takes him out. TP has been used. Enko uses the World Ender. Is going to be able to find Jan, but a beautiful flash to come out. They have that shadow to come on through. Copy comes in with the rotation. Kimby ignores him, says, I'll get Sal, you get the rest, as Engo is going to slowly but surely go on down. Abby not able to get into range, and that is a killing spree for Kimby.
The rotations coming in from 100 Thieves next are so good as they still stay ahead of Radiance, and a lot of this is the mid lane matchup shining through. We saw the pressure going down on the Zoe, but at this point in the game still has so much priority in that mid lane, and with mid-jungle priority going over to 100 Thieves next, it's really difficult for Andy Bendy to go for any of these aggressive plays he loves to go for in the laning phase, and really, really came to fruition there.
Yeah, and I love the fact that we saw the Dawning Shadow that came out from Jan, because that was Jan giving himself a security net, right, too? He had that shield that was packed in there, so they tried to go in forward for him. They were not going to kill him. So really, honestly, you talked about the rotations, but also the forethought from this bot lane yet again. We talked so much about Radiance's bot lane, and I feel like it would be injustice to not talk about how brilliantly this bot lane from 100 Thieves Nets has been playing.
Yeah, they've been playing very well this series, and
no, that was not a moment to look back on the camera.
It was bad, man. That's not a good moment.
He dashed away with it at 1 HP. Feels bad.
I mean, I like the style coming out now, utilizing the EQ as more fights in the top lane.
Yeah, more style. We'll talk about that, as it's just going to be Engo getting jumped onto over here inside the top side. He comes out of the Death Realm. It's going to have a good flash, but it's still going to get slapped by the mace all the same. Will be a kill that goes over. As I did want to talk about this real quick. Look at what Kimby bought as his first item and how happy it makes me.
Ooh, Umbral Glaive. The Thaliday Graves, I like it this game. Like, there's not a definitive tank over on the side of Radiance, and they aren't going to be building armor until their 3rd or 4th items coming on in, especially on this Aatrox. So I actually like that a lot. It's going to make things really difficult, especially with how far ahead he is. Is that mark number 4 for Avi?
He got a mark there. That is going to be mark number 4.
Yeah,
So big
okay.
mark. Hey, congratulations, Kindred is now a sort of a champion.
I mean, it's not as bad as like Kane, but
Yeah.
that extra range does make a big difference as we continue, and really going to help with all the ranged members coming in here for 100 Thieves next, as we do have the dragon spawning rather soon. And so far, Radiance, they're at the objective first. They have control over this river. Let's see if 100 Thieves next can poke their way in.
Yeah, I have to see what they'll be able to do here. Is Umbral Glaive is going to give them quite a good amount of vision control here. They're looking for the catch on the Otto. They're going to be able to grab him with the Graviton gun, laying out a good amount of damage onto him. Otto trying to see if he can get in the range to a target, set up for the rest of his team, but his team is not in range just yet, so they will back it up, as now it looks like 100 Thieves Nets have gotten themselves complete control over this dragon area.
Yeah, and just like that, 100 Thieves next, they bully their way in, utilizing the power of this Senna set lane and the priority that they still have on the mid jungle. And I don't know what forced young mid back. I don't know if Radiance just said, all right, let's give this dragon and we'll kind of all in at the next one. But surprised at the late reset with the objective down. I'm curious if Zoe landed some poke. It might have been off camera. I did not catch that. Should have been looking out for that one. But still, soul point early going over to the side of 100 Thieves next.
Yeah, they are able to grab this, and with this early control that they've been able to grab, it's just been really good play that's been coming out from them, and it's the macro from 100 Thieves that have really, it feels like that's what's giving them their kills. And even on these fights where it looks like it's sort of even trades or anything like that, or where people go in that, it does turn into a situation where they're getting the objectives, they're getting the targets that they need, and they're really dictating the pace of the match.
Yeah, it seems like Radiance just gave up, as Hyper in my ear saying that Zoe did not land a skill shot. As Hyper, I'm also going to actually have something for you, as I know that we have a graphic prep talking about both supports, as we have some resets coming in from both teams, and strong showing, honestly, from Otto in the last game on this Karma. And you know, this is also a strategy with Otto that they love to run as
I hate to cut you off here. Kenby's going to get jumped onto. He's getting a little bit too aggressive for his shoes, but he's got so much shield appeal, but he's still shut down. All the same, Tenacity is now going to find himself sending over to Inko into the death realm, but now is in the bat side. It's support versus support, and it's going to be Otto coming out on top, but is it going to be worth it? He's fast AF, boy. He is out of there, and Otto not going to be caught out on that.
He's got that dead man's plate. He's cruising with those Fists of Fury as he takes down Cal. Some supportal combat appropriate, considering that we just had the graphic, and potentially looking for more. But Avi is here, going to prevent any further aggression coming out from 100 Thieves next.
I just love the way that Otto is playing inside of this lane. So much confidence on the set. And if you're going to play set, you got to puff out your chest and you got to challenge them, right? You got to say, you can meet me on Rust, 1v1, no steady aim or anything like that. You gotta just challenge them.
How do we get into MW2, man? You could play the new Modern Warfare and get on Rust as well, but I think we're going to focus on the sole map that we have in League of Legends, which at least competitive League of Legends, which is the Rift. You know, no disrespect coming in for ARAM, and RIP Twisted Tree Line as well.
What about that's coming out soon, man.
Yeah, we won't worry about that. It's not competitive unless, you know, ranked ARAM comes out. Still waiting for that one, right?
I'll always remember the Crystal Scar. That's all I'm going to say there. But we are getting into the game. We're getting close to that 20-minute mark. Baron is going to spawn up. And last game, Baron or Elder Drake was not needed to be able to close out the match in favor of 100 Thieves Nets. We're at to see if that's going to be very decisive for them here as well.
I mean, they're set up for it because, I mean, it seems like we're watching the same game as, once again, they have that 3-dragon advantage and a 5k gold lead on the map. And it's going to be so difficult for Radiance to make their way into the dragon area because they have to fight through all this Zoe poke that's coming through when they're behind. It's so difficult, as, you know, when you get ahead, Zoe is so frustrating to play against.
I agree. Even when Zoe's behind, it's very frustrating to go against. I don't like Zoe. My co-caster over in Academy, he's a Zoe player, and every time I look at him, I'm like, just sometimes I have a disdain for you, Shadow. He plays the one thing I can't stand. But
Yeah.
Otto taking a couple tower shots there, getting a couple Mia pings thrown at him.
He wanted the Haymaker shield built up already, you know, or taking advantage of that extra health regain as, you know, we do have Dragon coming in here in less than 90 seconds. And I think it's important to, you know, at least take a look at how these teams are set up as that bot side jungle is lit up like a Christmas tree over there for 100 Thieves next.
No, Kenvi is in a tricky spot here. He's going to find himself getting soloed out by Engo if he's not very careful. Over in the mid lane, it's going to be Jan versus Andy Bandy. Andy Bandy is continuing forward. A Moonlight Vigil. A shutdown for Andy Bandy as the chase continues. Engo wanting to pick himself up a kill over here in the top side, but will zone Kenvi off from the rest of his team. Zoe's nowhere in the mid lane. And this is going to be the first tower of the game for Radiance.
All right, Andy Bendy making plays for his team, sitting at 5-3-0. Finds a big pick and really does it. I mean, taking that mid tower against Zoe is huge. It opens the map up so much for Radiance. And as this dragon spawns, they need this or else they're staring down a huge deficit once these mountain soul shields start coming through as well. Uh-oh.
Yeah, you go to sleep, and there's a Zoe there. Look, there. Where does HP go? I don't know, and I don't want to ask that question ever again. It's a very... I thought Sal just was about to get hit by 2 paddle stars back to back, and he was going to feel the paddle there for sure.
Yeah, and it's fun seeing Copy. I mean, I know he's 0-0-2, but he's had such a significant impact on this game. And
this is not a good place to be. You don't want to be here. What are you doing, Abby? He's going to get jumped onto. Lots of damage being laid out. That's going to go ahead and use the Lancer Spike. He is burning alive. The collateral damage kept him on the back foot off the rebound. Not going to be able to get the snare onto Andy Bendy. This is going to be a huge fight. They're going to be able to send him over to the death room. Young's not going to be able to participate into this fight as Tenacity's going to look to just solo him out over onto the side. He comes back into reality and goes back to a great screen. As 100 Thieves Nets, they pick the fight and they pick the pieces.
Tenacity sending Young mid from one death realm to another.
Wait, here comes the power driver. Otto trying to jump on in. He's going to be able to get the Skullbreaker onto Engo. He's going to have to pop the World Ender to keep himself healthy, trying to get away. And it is going to be the Kenvi just going over there, grabbing that Mountain Drake. It is the soul, and Engo, you're in a tricky spot. Jan's going to be over here looking for the flank, going to be able to roo him on up. They're laying out the damage onto him. The paddle star going to be able to connect, and Otto finds himself another kill. As it is going to be Radiance getting routed. They're having to run up. They don't have a safe place. You're running away from your face. You are cut off. There is no escape. Andy Bendy's going to try and use the Graviton gun, trying to see what he'll be able to do. It's going to be the visible target as Andy is going to be able to jump into this fight, but it is going to be one hell of a haymaker that breaks his face as Sal is going to go down as well. He is going to go to sleep. Avi going to be able to barely survive, but he's going to go down all the same as it's a double kill going over to Kenvi. Young's here to join the fray. But it is not going to be enough as he is just going to have to tell his friends goodbye.
Oh,
no
just
replay for that. That is way too long of a replay, just so y'all know. We're going to give you the FYI on that.
Man, just like that, 100 Thieves next. They absolutely just break the game wide open off the group as they also give my good friend Travesty a hell of a workout there with his voice. As I should have taken a nap during that play, but you know, getting back to some more slower gameplay, we are going to take the Baron. We have Mountain Soul over on the side of 100 Thieves next as they're poised to win another game in less than 30 minutes here. I have to think with how far ahead they are, this could be the death push coming out.
Yeah, absolutely could be. They are looking like they are in a fine position to be able to just take the game and win it for themselves. 100 Thieves Nets looking like they're looking at their Nets opponent, but they can't do it just yet. The Nets hasn't exploded. Radiance still looking for what their options may be to try and get themselves out of the strangling position.
Yeah, it's got to be off the back of Andy Bendy once again, but the tough part for Radiance is the fact that they need items and gold to make this nice disengage comp work, and they just aren't there yet. The only person who has those items is Andy Bendy, but still only an Asher's Tooth for Young mid. Kindred was so far behind this game. Look at how many items she's down. Barely doesn't even have her second item completed in that Black Cleaver as Graves sitting on 3.5.
Yeah, they don't know that there's 3 down here. I don't think they know.
They have to go for this play, but Tenacity is going to be the toughest member to take down as he can make any one of these fights a 1v1.
Yeah, I was actually just looking. There is no Quicksilver on any member of the team here. So this could be very tricky. They're looking for something possibly here. The Mordekaiser is staying a little bit far back and goes over here into the top lane. Otto is a top laner now. It's going to be Young getting jumped onto by the Graves. Going to have a lot of damage coming his way as Jan is going to be able to blow away his HP. Kenvi is unstoppable. And now Otto's looking for the dive. He said, 1v1 me, mate. I'll do it underneath your tower. Laying in the haymaker. So he's going to be able to grab a tower, and it's 3 just pushing into the mid lane. And Otto just got solo killed by the support.
Well, you know, Otto originally was an AD carry for CLG Academy and seems to be going back. Roots is
But there's no more fighting. Anybody's looking for Achilles, trying to see what he'll be able to do. The Polymorph going to be able to come out, laying out a good amount of damage, keeping him safe. He's going to go ahead and flash on forward, but that damage that's coming out from the Graves is so freaking much. He's a cute, cuddly squirrel, but he's going to be a big, burly man with a cigar in his mouth, as it's going to be Otto coming around further flank, going to be able to get the stun on Andy Benny. He's going to get out of the Lancer spite. It's going to be nap time for Avi, as he's going to get shotgun. Good night, sweet prince. A double kill for Kenvi, and it looks like 100 Thieves Nets are going to look to end the game.
Man, and look at the scoreline here for 100 Thieves Next. This game has been all their bot lane against the bot lane of Radiance too. Like, this is one of the strongest bot lanes in SGC.
Wait a second. There's a face breaker that's going to come out. Young Maid getting jumped onto. Lots of damage being put onto him. Jan goes down. He's going to sleep. Good night, Engo. His copy finds another kill for himself. Kenvi finds another one. 12, 2, and 8 on the day's performance. That is an ace. And they got the minions crashing in. This is going to be a double, a triple inhibitor. Nothing is going to be left in their wake. As it looks like 100 Thieves Nets are going to look to finish off this game. Can be looking to lay out some more damage. Smoke screen coming on in. But it's just going to be them doing the dance onto the fountain. And 100 Thieves Nets, they are going to slowly but surely take this. They're going to let the minions do all the work for them.
I cannot believe what 100 Thieves Next did to the side, or did to Radiance in this one. I mean, the bot lane of Radiance is one of the strongest in all of SGC, and 100 Thieves Next made them, quite frankly, look silly those 2 games. I know that, you know, obviously the level 1 was pretty whack in this one, but double kills both games going over to Yana and Otto in that just raw 2v2, and man, if this bot lane of 100 Thieves Next can keep performing at this level, I mean, this just makes the team look even scarier than they already are.
I have to say, right? Congratulations to 100 Thieves Nets. Fun fact, they have a statistic that I can use here. They have taken the Nexus without laying a single hit on it. They did not touch the Nexus at all. So that was 100% minions. So they did 0 damage to the Nexus. I think that's a fun stat that I'm going to keep a hold of. But
how would he get the plus 50 if you just let the minions take it down, man? Come on.
And listen, minions get the plus, but you got to give to the minions, all right? Listen, they live a thankless job. I do want to talk a quick moment. This is a fun stat for me. A lot of people may know this is a stat I look at a lot, is KP. I think KP is one of the most important stats in the game. When we look over at Radiance, this is a quick thing to look at because they did lose here today. All their KP, they had 6 kills, right? 5 of those kills were on Andy Bendy. Nobody else had, everybody else had, you had 1 KP from Engo, 3 from Avi, 0 from Young, and 3 from Sal. That tells you right there that Andy Bendy really, I mean, he had some resources put into him, but the rest of his team did not have a great performance either. So that's a big thing to take note of. And over on the other side of things, KP wise, you got 25 kills. There is a total amount of 20 KP between the 80 from Jan and Kenvi here.
Yeah, I mean, this game, it was really just Kenvi Gap coming in once again. I mean, I cannot emphasize how good this player is. And I think of the fact they went for that late invade. He lost the buff and was still able to have this type of impact in the Graves versus Kindred matchup. I mean, he is such an impressive player, the best player in SGC. I can't tout it enough because he keeps on delivering every single game that I see this man play. And it's going to be really fun watching him on 100 Thieves Next as this team continues to just look better and better. And I do not see any challengers in the horizon for them. So really waiting for one of these teams to step up and give them a run for their money. Until then, it's just all 100 Thieves Next. They are so good.
They are. I have actually another couple interesting stats. One, Andy Bendy did the most damage in that game by a landslide. I just want to point that out. Like, he did do the most damage by a huge landslide. But like he did as much as anybody else on his team all combined together in one like little pretty bow. It was disgusting how much damage he's able to put out. But another interesting statistic is the fact that Otto did more damage than anybody else on the other team besides Andy Bandy. And that shows a little bit of a disparity. And it kind of goes back to the talking point of 100 Thieves Nets. Who is their weak link? I feel like is a big question to act like, because Tenacity looks phenomenal. You've got just Kenvi just really pulling the shots. This is his meta. Really, it truly feels like Kenvi meta at this point in time. Copy is having fantastic mid lane performances. And Yan and Otto, in a storyline where we were looking at the bot lane to be in favor of Radiance, they just showed up and just straight up put the boot down and said, you know what? You guys are not talking about us nearly enough.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was a very impressive performance, and I've seen the Senna set lane quite a bit from 100 Thieves Next, and I have to say that I know that they can perform very well on that lane and go toe-to-toe with anyone. They showed it this game, but I haven't seen the Ashe Karma for them, and they looked really good as they found the double kill on the Yasuo Senna that Radiance was running, and I realized, like, what Radiance was trying to do. They're trying to deny the Senna, but I don't think they expected the Ashe pick to come on through, and props to 100 Thieves Next for having that one in their back pocket and pulling out that game 1 win. And yeah, game 2, I mean, just Kenby started behind, but man, he ramped up really quick on that Graves and was able to go full lethality. And you saw how hard he was hitting in that last fight.
Yeah, he was just disgusting. I mean, oh god, dude, that last fight was something else. And I gotta, one of the things I do love to see from players is when their personality kind of gets to come out in the games, when they get to show a little bit of their personality. And Otto's just a Chad. And like just going up, puffing out his chest to the tower, says, yeah, I don't care if you see me. Look, I'm taking 3 tower shots right in front of your face. What are you going to do about it? It's just, I love to see those little moments in 100 Thieves Nets. They're going to be a very fun team to watch. We'll have to see if they're going to be more successful with their UPL run this time around in comparison to last season's playoff run. And they're looking ever so powerful.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the team they lost to ended up becoming Radiance, and guess what? 100 Thieves Next, they're looking pretty good so far. They find themselves now in the upper bracket semifinals, and they've locked themselves in those SGC points too with that win. So 100 Thieves Next already making their run, starting it here into SGC as a whole, making one of those top 8 teams. Is I know they've already locked in points over at Big League as well. So the best team is looking good, and I'm just waiting to see if any team in SGC can actually start to challenge these guys, because Maryville's given them a run for their money, but they've lost every series they played against them. And besides that, I haven't really seen a team step up. The last loss they had was in LWL OQ #1 against a new esports. And since then, it's been all 100 Thieves Next.
Well, you heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. We want somebody who will prove Cubby wrong. So let's see who in the UPL, the next contender to come up. Let's see him go ahead and see if they'll be able to compete with 100 Thieves Nets, or if it's going to be the ever so wise prophet of just Cubby just being like, yes, 100 Thieves Nets, I predict they'll win. As
I got the galaxy brain, man.
The galaxy brain, it's imploding in front of everybody here. You can see all the different knowledge, all the different galaxies of knowledge inside of his big brain. 200 IQ, 300 IQ, even if you may be so brave. But ladies and gentlemen, that is it for us here tonight to finish us off, as that was 100 Thieves Nets versus Radiance, and 100 Thieves Nets, of course, get to go on forward into the next round in the upper. With that being said, be sure you stay tuned. Hit that follow button if you haven't already, because let me tell you about something. You got some hot and fresh contendies on Thursday. That is on July 2nd. I believe we're going to have Recon 5 Scarlet versus Phoenix Carnage. That could be liable for change, but that's currently the matchup, I believe, that is being advertised for Thursday. I believe we're going to have Lemons and Go for Eno on the desk, so make sure you check them out, as they're going to put out a spicy Sour Patch Kids flavored cast. That's what I'm going to call it. Sour Patch Kids flavor. They're sweet, they're sour, they're gone. It's lemons, dude. Lemons are sour, they're bitter,
Yeah, but how do you get the spiciness, man?
Well, Go for Eno's on it. Have you seen the man? He's just full of spice.
All right, that's fair enough.
Just
throw some cumin on that lemon. Get things going.
Yes, that's all you need. And whenever it's UCL, man, it's always ever so spicy. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys all for having me and my boy Cubby here. We will catch you guys next week, and have yourselves a great one.